you have to admit, he's better than Topher Grace. Last Friday, I went to see Venom with some friends. And was it the perfect symbiosis of action, drama, and visual effects? Let's find out as I review Venom. Directed by Ruben Fleischer, starring Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and Riz Ahmed. This year marks the 30th anniversary of Venom's debut in Marvel Comics in May of 1988. The film's storyline is based on the Venom Lethal Protector miniseries and the Planet of the Symbiotes story arc. The filmmakers also cite the films of horror directors John Carpenter and David Cronenberg as an influence on the film. Tom Hardy, whose son Louis is a massive Venom fan, plays the role of Eddie Brock, a lovable loser who is down on his luck until a homicidal alien hitchhiker turns his frown into a toothy grin with a tongue Gene Simmons will be jealous of. The opening of the film is very intense, showing an injured paramedic who has been taken over by a symbiote walking away from a downed space shuttle on a visible compound fracture until her leg heals, promising a much more gruesome and hardcore film than we end up getting, making me wonder if this scene was filmed before Sony decided to downgrade Venom from R to PG-13. We then meet Eddie Brock, a reporter who seems more like a YouTube personality than a professional news source, who starts making waves for our obligatory evil rich guy, Carlton Drake, played by Riz Ahmed. And I have to say, James Spader would have been much better in the role. He can give off a sadistic intelligence that would have made the character chilling and menacing. But instead, we get a pretty bland paint-by-numbers evil businessman who is far younger than his comic book counterpart. And he just seems to come off like a shot at Elon Musk and his SpaceX program. Eddie's fiancée, Anne Wing, played by Michelle Williams, works for a law firm that is defending evil Elon Musk for some wrongful death cases due to human testing. The law firm is called Missionelli and McFarlane, the names of Venom's creators. After snooping through Anne's emails for some dirt on Drake, Eddie accidentally gets his girl fired, loses his own job, and gets dumped in the process. When he meets Dr. Dora Skirth, an original character created for the film, played by Jenny Slate. I must confess, I had a hard time taking her seriously because whenever she talked, I couldn't help but picture Bellwether from Zootopia. I also noticed in the film she didn't say symbiote, meaning they re-recorded her dialogue after fans made fun of the trailer, proving they pay attention to what we say online. They just don't want us to think they do. Turns out Dr. Bellwether has reached her limit of dead bum test subjects and decides to come clean about all the death going on at the Life Foundation. Eddie and the doc break in to get the proof they need, and I'm not sure what their plan is here or how they think they're not going to get caught, since security cameras would watch their every move, but whatever. Eddie's exposed to the symbiote Venom, which gives him a bad case of the munchies, followed by the rumbly-tumbly, leading to probably the best depiction of puking I've ever seen in a movie. And after that, villainous Elon Musk sends Bill Burr and his group of mercenaries to hunt Eddie and retrieve the symbiote, leading to one of the biggest action set pieces of the film, a motorcycle chase. It kind of feels like the movie gets preempted by a Tom Cruise film for a bit, but it's hard to get away with too much violence and dismemberment in a PG-13 film. Unless, of course, you're Star Wars. There really isn't much to spoil in this film. It all pretty much goes the way you think it will. But before I talk about the ending, here's a spoiler alert. So just mute the video until you see the spoiler warning leave the screen. Are we good? Okay, so Anne's new boyfriend is a doctor, and they use a little sonic goo gun to free Eddie of the symbiote, even though they know it's keeping him alive and his internal organs are shutting down. So how does this really help him? I'm not sure. While at the hospital, Venom oozes through a vent cover in a nice little homage to the classic film The Blob, so I enjoyed that. After leaving the hospital, the bad guys catch Eddie and take him out into the woods to give him the Old Yeller treatment, when Venom shows up hitching a ride on Eddie's ex-girlfriend, but still kind of girlfriend, Anne, leading to the grossest movie makeout since Mayor May Who Kissed Max in The Grinch. A big problem I have with the ending is not only how Venom knows where Eddie was, but also that Sony tried to copy the dynamic of having the blonde girlfriend in a plaid skirt find a scientific way to help the hero defeat the supervillain. Because hey, everyone loved Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, right? Except Anne is a lawyer, not a science whiz, so it doesn't work. Plus, she's way too old to be rocking that schoolgirl look. Riz Ahmed's Carlton Drake turns out to be Riot, the main symbiote villain of the film. But there's no real surprise there, so that about does it for spoilers. Before I give my final score, what did you guys think of it?
There wasn't enough carnage in it for my taste. Every time the action got good, they cut away.
Well, they had to, so they could hit that PG-13 rating.
They promised me a hardcore R-rated Venom movie, but it was all a lie. It wasn't hardcore at all. I want my credits back, and revenge.
Don't get your robe in a punch, it wasn't that bad. What'd you think of it?
Well, yes, I pretty much agree with everything you just said.
Of course he would. He works for you.
That's not true. I want your honest opinion. What did you really think of it?
But when Kevin said Jurassic World was a better movie than Jurassic Park, you cut his head off, sir.
Jurassic Park is a work of cinematic genius. I don't care what that little weeb said. And why do you still have his head?
Now who needs to chill?
Knock it off, Beelzebub. But hey, you said you didn't get enough carnage. How about Woody Harrelson at the end? Pretty wizard, right?
His hair was dumb. It looked like a Ronald McDonald wig.
You know what? Your face is dumb.
Your breathing's dumb. You sound like a scuba tank.
What's dumb is getting cut in half by a Padawan. You even had the high ground, for crying out loud.
At least I didn't lose my arm and legs over a chick.
You see, this is why no one hangs out with you anymore. Since this is my show, and my opinion is the only one that matters here, let's get back to my thoughts on the film, shall we? I thought I would give this film a venomous review, as I expected it to be a turd in the wind, so to speak. But the film was a lot funnier than I expected it to be. You could even say at times, it was a riot. The film did miss a great opportunity for some real human drama, exploring the emotional weight of the violence the symbiote causes Eddie to be part of. In the comics, there's an addictive property to the suit that they also left out. Seeing Eddie struggle with the need to become Venom and satiate his hunger could have lent itself to some great character moments, and drive home the horror of being trapped inside a monster as it hijacks your body. But whenever Venom commits an act of intense violence, it's always played off as more of a joke. So while the movie is thoroughly entertaining, particularly if you're a fan of the Venom comics, it does feel a little hamstrung by the PG-13 rating at times. The connection to Spider-Man and Venom's origin has also been omitted, unfortunately. So overall, it's a great summer blockbuster, full of action, surprising amounts of humor, and some good old monster movie fun. But for the missed opportunities of delving into deeper emotions with this film, the lack of Spider-Man, and the paint-by-numbers villain, I give Venom 3 out of 5 Death Stars. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. This has been Vader Reviews. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Twitter @Vader Reviews. Join the Empire today. You do not yet realize your importance. Share these videos, and together we will rule the internet. And always remember, you don't know the power of
Revenge.
Dude, will you stop?